Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Danielle. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at WomensSportsWeeklyPod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at WomensSportsWeeklyPod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on the Listener's Experience Zone, also known as the Les.
Run Club this week will be on Thursday. It is on every Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. at the 99ers. If you come to Run Club and you mention a secret word to the bartender, you will get 50% off your first draft. This week's secret word is ring. Why is it ring, Danielle?
It is ring because we have to shout out two very special people in our lives. One being my sister, Amanda, and her now fiance, James. They got engaged over the weekend. We are just so happy for them. They are both huge supporters of the pod. I'm just really happy to welcome James to the family officially, even though he already felt like he was part of the family. But now they're going to be planning a wedding. So shout out to Amanda and James and congrats on your engagement. We are over the moon for you.
Do you think they'll take their engagement photos in the Women's Sports Weekly t-shirts?
Ooh, we can only hope. Wink, wink.
Let's see it. Congratulations, you two. We love you.
Yes. Also, over the weekend, Carolyn and I did our favorite thing ever. We did some yard work.
Well, we have a lot of house projects going on right now.
Yeah, we do.
So the basement, really no updates there. Still looks a mess. And now this is round 3 of the front yard.
If you live in Denver, you know maintaining a lawn without a sprinkler system, it's really not that fun. And we failed miserably.
Well, I've got feelings.
I don't want to hear your feelings because you did not help maintain the lawn, so you don't get a say. But
no. Hold on.
No.
At the start of this, I was like, I don't think grass does really well in Colorado. Maybe we should call in a landscaper and get some good ideas. Nope, Danielle doesn't like to pay people to do professional work. So we put in the grass once. The grass died. We ripped up the grass. We put it in twice. The grass died again. This is now the second time we're ripping up all the grass again, which is a lot of freaking work. And now we are going to plants, which we should have done from the very beginning. Denver has a really cool program where you can buy plants from the city at a discounted price because they want people to not have grass and they want people to use less water. And so these plants are a little bit more adaptable to Colorado. And I asked Danielle if I was ever going to get an apology or an you were right. And the answer is a hard
no. Did you ever help water the front lawn?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
I don't remember.
Also, I do feel like sometimes it's embarrassing to water the front lawn because I just feel like I'm out there wasting water and then people are walking by and judging me.
That's a you problem. People with lawns have sprinklers. If you want to maintain the lawn, you use water. News alert.
Yeah, it feels bad for the environmentalist in me.
Well,
here we are again. We're tearing up our lawn once again.
Yeah. So Saturday consisted of hours of manual labor. I signed up for a half marathon at the end of September. So doing my longer run on Sunday did not feel great. It's been so hot here in Denver, and doing that manual labor in the heat on Saturday was not fun.
And if you are watching on video, you could probably see my arms. They're all scratched up because I was in the bushes of our front area trying to clean things up and cut things down. I have cuts all over my legs. I'm not made for this life. We need to be rich because I am not made for manual labor.
Yeah, so if you have yard work that needs to be done, don't call us. That's what I have to say about that.
And if you like to see a spectacle, come drive by our house because it's a freaking spectacle.
It's going to look great in about 3 weeks.
No, it's going to look great in about 3 years when we finally have enough money to hire a landscaper to redo it all.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's get into the highlight reel for this week.
Yeah, after that. We actually haven't talked about running in a while, but this weekend in Colorado, the Leadville 100 took place.
We didn't go this year.
I know, I'm bummed, but I've been fighting a cold. We've been traveling nonstop. We just had to be home this weekend.
And we had to rip up our whole front lawn, which was like 9 hours of time. I worked a whole full day on Saturday.
Yeah.
I won't stop complaining.
Okay. If you're in Colorado or ever have the opportunity to see the Leadville 100, it really is so inspirational. We talked a lot about it last year when we went and saw it live. But this year, we just got highlights through following along on Instagram and reading about it. And we have to shout out Ann Flower made her 100-mile debut over the weekend. So first time running a 100-mile race. She beat a 31-year-old women's course record, finishing the Leadville 100 in 17 hours, 58 minutes, and 19 seconds. Again, this is 100 miles in a ton of elevation gain. It is a grueling race. And the previous course record was also held by Ann Trazen, and she ran it in 18 hours, 6 minutes, and 24 seconds. So this record was beat by about 8 minutes. Ann Flowers, who beat the record, happens to be an emergency room doctor.
Okay.
And I'm laughing because I just think it's so unbelievable that a doctor is just out here crushing 100-mile races.
So I do think ultra marathons attract a very specific type of person. They're very intense. And I also think when you're working in the ER and you're a doctor, you're also a very specific type of person. And I think the Venn diagram catches over those two areas of intensity and you get ultramarathoner / doctor.
Her story just continues to be more interesting because, okay, Leadville had a trail marathon earlier in the summer. She won that. Then she ran the Silver Rush 50, which is a 50-miler, also in Leadville, won that. By doing that, she was granted entry into the Leadville 100. But at that time, she did not have a desire.
She never ran one before.
To run the Leadville 100.
She's got work to do.
So what I found in my research is she decided to go ahead and run this race 2 weeks prior to the race because she hadn't been training specifically for a 100-miler, but she did say it's the fittest she's ever been in her life because obviously she was training for a trail marathon and a 50-miler. But hello, 50 miles to 100 miles, that is a huge jump. So 2 weeks before, she decides why not. And then she goes and beats a 31-year-old course record.
Imagine if she trained. Also, that's so annoying.
Well, she did train, but she wasn't training specifically for a 100-miler.
And it's annoying because, like, you want to know what I could accomplish on 2 weeks of training?
No.
Maybe 6 miles.
I do not, but we can't go with that impression. She has been training.
I know, but it takes a very specific, special type of person to be like, okay, I'm going to go run 100 miles and see what happens, and then crush a course record.
Yeah. With about 2 miles left, I read she realized that the course record was in reach. So that's when she passes this man who's second place overall. She ends up placing second place overall, not second place woman, second place overall in the race. And fun fact, the other Ann, who ran 31 years ago and had the previous course record, was also second place overall that year.
Very cool.
So I just love to see women crushing it. I have to give a shout out to David Roach. I talk about his podcast. Him and his wife, Megan, have a trail running podcast that I listen to, and he broke his course record from last year again this year. So she was behind him to place second overall, and his wife actually paced him for the last 23 miles of the race, which I thought was really cool. Huge weekend in Leadville, and just huge shout out to 2 course records being broken.
I can make you a promise right now.
Yes.
If you ever run 100 miles, I will pace 0 of those miles with you.
All right.
And that's my promise.
It's on record. Wow. I thought you were going to say something nice. I guess I was wrong.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Oh, let's talk about another fun thing. Let's get into the WNBA. We have an update to our bet.
We do.
And maybe this is why I'm feeling spicy today, because we're tied up in our bet.
You're always feeling spicy, so I don't want to hear that.
And ties are like kissing your sister. And although a lot of people assume that Danielle and I are sisters, do you know if you put in, so this is what I do sometimes. I put into AI, and I know there's, environmental implications with using AI. I say, describe the Women's Sports Weekly podcast. It says that we're sisters. And I put everywhere that we're a married couple. And somehow AI just decided that we're sisters. But anyway, a tie is like kissing your sister, not what people assume we are. A tie is not like kissing you. Kissing you is great.
Thank you.
But a tie is like kissing your actual sister, and it's not fun. And we had a bet between the Atlanta Dream and the Seattle Storm. I was rooting for Atlanta. You were rooting for the Seattle Storm. In the series over the course of the regular season, if the Atlanta Dream won, then you would do a TikTok dance of my choice. And if the Seattle Storm won the series, that I would cook you a 3-course meal, cocktail, dinner, dessert.
No, I would prefer cocktail, appetizer, dinner.
Okay. Whatever it is, we'll do it. So now we have to do it together. We have to do a TikTok dance together, and we now have to do a 3-part meal together.
Hell yeah.
We'll pick those. We'll keep you all updated. It probably won't happen within this next week, but maybe the week after we'll start getting them done. Let's get into these games a little bit, because this past week, the Dream and the Storm played each other twice. Last Wednesday, the Dream beat Seattle 85-75, and I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I was getting nervous because the Storm were on a losing streak, and it was not looking good for me.
But then they played again last Friday, and Seattle squeaked out a win to snap their 6-game losing streak and win 80-78, which puts the series at 2-2 between us, which means we're at a tie.
Yes. I would love to say a few quick things about the Friday night game. I was very nervous because if Seattle lost, you would have won the bet, and I really did not want to lose this bet. Again, Seattle's been on a 6-game losing streak, and Seattle Storm is my team. So I was like, come on. They had the lead pretty much the entire game, and in the fourth quarter, they almost blew this. The one and only Skylar Diggins came through. She led all scorers in this game with 21 points. So she had a big day after struggling the past few games. So I was happy to see that for her. The Storm led 67-55 after the third quarter. And then to start the fourth quarter, the Dream went on a 12-0 run.
I was doing a little dance on the side. I was like, here we go, baby. Storm are going to lose again.
I was about to have a meltdown. And I can only imagine the TikTok dance you would have picked for me. So I was like, this cannot happen. And then Atlanta was up 76-71 with 2:45 remaining, so it was still close. And then Seattle went on an 8-0 run to take the lead again and keep the lead, thankfully. Ezzy Magmagor.
Say it again.
How do you say it?
Just try again.
Ezzy Magbagor had 3 key blocks towards the end of the game, and this really helped the Storm hold it together, those defensive stops. And I'm just really happy for them and hope they can get their shit together.
I'm really impressed with your pronunciation of Ezzy Magbagor's name, because you struggle with it in real life and it only took you like 3 tries.
There we go. I'm really trying here. So congrats to Seattle.
Seattle's got to figure some stuff out if they want to make it to playoffs.
Yeah. But we'll stick with the Seattle Storm train because
Sue Bird has a statue. The Seattle Storm is the first WNBA team in history to dedicate a statue to a former player. We know that Asia Wilson has a statue in Columbia at the University of South Carolina, but now Sue Bird has a statue in Seattle.
I would like to pause real quick. I think this is really cool. But I don't know if you remember when we were in Scotland, you said you wouldn't want a statue of yourself because all you see is bird poop on them. So what do you have to say to Sue?
Oh, yikes. We did see a lot of old men, when I mean old, like ancient men, with statues with lots of bird poop. I don't know. Maybe they have something now to prevent birds pooping on it. But she is Sue Bird, so maybe she wouldn't care.
All right, Sue.
I don't know. Sue, I hope they have a good maintenance team and they clean up any poop, because in Scotland, they were not cleaning up the poop of the birds shitting on the head.
I just had to put that out there, but continue.
That's a good point. During the ceremony, the mayor for Seattle proclaimed August 17th, 2025 to be Sue Bird Day in Seattle,
Love.
in King County, where Seattle is, and in the state of Washington.
That's amazing.
I also heard that they're petitioning to rename Seattle Suattle.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, that's a joke, but I thought maybe I'd get a little giggle from you.
No, you're just trying to get me on the spot here.
Get what on the spot?
Make me believe something ridiculous.
I thought maybe I could get you to believe it, but okay. Anyway, we have talked about Sue Bird before, but as a reminder, she played 22 seasons with the Seattle Storm. She was drafted number 1 overall by the Storm in 2002. She led the team to 4 WNBA championships. She's also an Olympic gold medalist, a WNBA All-Star, a Hall of Famer, and the Storm retired her number in 2023. I saw the statue. What are your thoughts on it?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Pull it up.
This is bad.
So while Danielle's doing this, I will share that I think the statue looks good because there are a lot of statues that do not look good at all. She looks jacked in it. It looks like her for the most part, which I think is like the most important thing. And her ponytail looks perfect. So I think they knocked it out of the park. Statues are always strange because I think we as humans always see people different. And so to see Sue through someone else's eyes, I think is just interesting to do. But it does look like her.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I agree. I think that's a pretty sweet statue, and her arms look great.
Her arms look great. Her quads look great. I think from the side, it looks a lot more like her than from when I saw her face front on, but I think most people are going to be looking at her from the side anyway. I think it's really, really cool. I hope any birds that come near the Sue Bird statue know that her last name's Bird and just leave her alone, okay?
Yeah. Shoo shoo.
Shoo shoo.
Congrats to you, Sue.
We are also doing this episode a little bit differently because we have an interview this week and we'll get into that. But before we get into that, we're going to go into what we're looking forward to this week. What do you have for us, Dee?
So I'm looking forward to the Women's Rugby World Cup. It kicks off this weekend, starting on Friday, August 22nd. The U.S. will take on England, who are the hosts, at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Paramount+. The Rugby World Cup is held every 4 years, and New Zealand has won the tournament 6 times. England has won it twice, and then the U.S. won it back in 1991.
Just once.
Yes, so hopefully the U.S. can make us proud and make it far in this tournament.
I'm looking forward to watching. We're now rugby girlies, and I'm just excited to watch Team USA.
Yeah, it should be fun. What are you looking forward to?
The U.S. Open for tennis begins this week. I am so excited. Sunday, August 24th is when the first rounds for women's singles will begin, and it will be on ESPN. So we'll be talking a lot more about the U.S. Open in the next coming weeks.
We are going to pause for a quick ad for ourselves. Please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We truly love putting the podcast together, and we would love to continue to do it. We create, produce, and edit the podcast ourselves. If you want to support us, you can rate, subscribe, give a positive review, and share it with the people you love. Thank you to everyone who has already rated the podcast. If you send us a picture of your 5-star rating, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker in the mail, so please help us out.
And since we played Good Cop, Bad Cop last week, where you were very nice and asked for ratings and I was not very nice and asked for ratings, we got a few more, but I haven't gotten any screenshots. So send over those screenshots and I will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker.
Yes, and if you are a listener but not a subscriber, please subscribe as well and click that follow button.
Let's get into our deep dive for today. We are so excited to have Afriye Phillips on the pod today. He is a professional practice player for the New York Liberty. He is a high school basketball coach and is the owner of the Hoops Academy, which provides youth player development in Colorado. Practice players have been getting some bad PR lately. Well, I don't even know if it's practice players as much as men who think they can be practice players, but Afriye really takes us behind the scenes on what it's like to be a practice player, what it takes. And I promise you, he is going to reshape how you think about professional practice players in the WNBA. He is so knowledgeable. He has so much respect for the Liberty as an organization, for the coaches, and especially for the players. It was just really refreshing to get to speak with him. And we are so happy to share this interview with you today. We talk a lot about Liberty players in this deep dive, and we use some of their nicknames. So I'm just going to go through the nicknames we use so that we're all on the same page before we get started. Sabrina Ionescu also goes by Sab, so you'll hear Afriye refer to Sabrina as Sab. Jonquel Jones goes by JJ. Maureen Johannes, the Liberty call her MJ, so you'll hear that. Stewie is obviously Brianna Stewart. And then TC or T Cloud is Natasha Cloud, who plays for the Liberty. And then lastly, we also mention Marina, and we're referring to Marina Mabry, who plays for the Connecticut Sun. So with all that info, you should be ready to go. Let's get into this interview. Afriye Phillips is the founder of Hoops Academy and a professional practice player for the New York Liberty. Hoops Academy provides mentorship, tutoring, and player development to youth athletes. Afriye is a graduate of Oral Roberts University and a former G League player, and we are so happy to have him today. Welcome, Afriye Phillips.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
we would love to start with just a little bit more information about you so our listeners can get to know you just a bit more. How did you get involved in coaching and player development?
So after I finished up college, I went down to Texas, went to an open tryout with the Dallas Mavericks, and ended up making their G League squad. So that was a really cool experience. And after I finished that up, I thought I would do coaching on the weekends from time to time, just kind of do it as a little side thing. And I remember I coached a middle school girls team at a rec center. I didn't even get paid. One of the girls, very first practice, walked in with cowboy boots on, didn't even have basketball shoes. And I was like, all right, this is going to be a long season. Come to find out, they hadn't won a game in 3 years. That season, we only lost one game. It was really exciting. And I got that same energy I got from playing. And since then, the coaching bug. So
Can you describe your favorite athlete to coach?
yeah, so I'll describe it in two ways. I'll describe it like an ideal and then someone that I've been able to work with. So ideally, of course, you want someone who works hard and someone who's able to put in the work on their own, but definitely someone who's got the right mental state. So just someone who comes into the game and wants to approach it the right way. I love to use the Mamba mentality for that. And someone I can like literally put into that position would be like a Sabrina or a Brianna Stewart. Like both of them in practice, Sab is just locked in and she's scoring 25 plus in order for us to win games. Like she's doing phenomenal. And Stewie, maybe we're not supposed to have favorites, but Stewie is definitely my favorite player to work. The ultimate professional. I got to see her play once in college while she was at UConn, and let me tell you, she really is that good. Just being able to be with them in practice each day, that's like the embodiment of the type of player you want. Men's or women's basketball, doesn't matter.
That's great. So you're based out of Denver, correct?
I am.
So how did you find the opportunity to be a practice player for the New York Liberty?
I honestly saw an application online and I just sent out my resume and I was like, I'll just give it a shot at the end of last year. And I didn't hear anything back until they contacted me in March of this year. And there was a tryout process. Came out here, tried out, really, really enjoyed it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. It's been fantastic.
That's awesome. You mentioned the tryouts. I've actually seen on social media someone post about trying out for a team, and he had mentioned that a lot of people just showed up and weren't even good at basketball, didn't have any basketball IQ. And I think the WNBA gets a bad rep because any guy thinks he can just go in there and play against these women. So I'm just curious, from your perspective, were there guys like that, or for your tryout, was everyone pretty legit?
Natasha Cloud, she was like, hey, you guys are like the best practice squad like I've ever played against. And I have to give us credit. We had all like legitimate hoopers. Now, I will say I've seen some of those videos on social media as well. Some of the guys that try out are not any good. But I can vouch for all the guys I play with. They can all go. So
No, that's great. And obviously, being in the G League, you know what you're doing. So it's good to hear that people took it seriously for your tryout, at least.
for sure.
You mentioned a little bit about some of the players that you are working with, but can you take us behind the scenes at practice? I have so many questions. What does it look like? How long is it? What is the role of the practice player? Are you involved in everything? Are you only involved in certain things like the scout? Can you just take us through it?
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to behind the scenes stuff, I won't get into specific plays or anything like that, but I'll just kind of give you like the general consensus because we're about to go into playoff time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to practice, one of the first things I really noticed was Coach Bondello, Coach Sandy. She is on top of it, but what I love is her delegation that she has for her assistant coaches. So there's a specific coach for defense, there's one for offense, and then Coach Parker, he's in charge of the practice squad, which is what I play for. So when we walk into practice, we legit get like a whole game plan. So if we're playing Phoenix, if we're playing Atlanta, if we're playing Indiana, we have very specific positions. Like, hey, you're going to be such and such player. You're going to be Caitlin Clark. You're going to be Angel Reese. And like, we're running their plays. Like, we've got to memorize those. At the exact same time, we want to make sure that we're setting the Liberty up for success. I'll give you like a little sneak peek. Like, we have something called wide action. So we always start off 3v3, 4v4. We're going through wide action. We're going through our double pin downs for Sab. We're going through our post ups for JJ and for Suey. So we're getting into these actions to start off practice. And then we ramp it up from there. We're going 5v5 and they want us going 90, 95% like, hey, we got to get ready for the game that's coming up. And then usually after that, we do some baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds. Those are tough to guard. Coach Sandy is like a great coach for a reason. There are so many little wrinkles that she throws in there. So I remember one time, and Sav was mad at me for this, but I read the play. Like I knew it was coming. And then like next practice, like I tried to read it again and like she did a little backdoor cut. I was like, all right, you got me on that one. That's usually what a general day in practice looks like. We're going through our 3v3, 4v4 stuff, get up and down, baseline, sideline, out of bounds. And then TC loves to talk a lot of smack. So at the very end, we just got to make sure that we can try to guard him.
That's awesome. We love T Cloud.
We have spent many, many minutes talking about each one of the Liberty players, and we have a lot of Liberty fans who listen to the podcast. So they're going to be so excited to hear this.
Yeah.
You spoke a little bit about Breanna Stewart's mentality. Can you break that down a little bit? What are the qualities? What are the values in her? What are the things that you see that really make her stand out?
This is a great question, and I think this will really help younger athletes. Like, she is the ultimate professional. Before the public knew, we knew that she wasn't going to play in some preseason games, but she's getting her work done. She's still calling out plays. Like, she's like on the court helping, like, hey, TC, this is how we run this is how we do this action. To help out young athletes, like with the mentality that I mentioned, like even if you're not getting a bunch of playing time or something like that at the beginning, you can still find ways to impact. And obviously she's a great player, so when she did come back, it was like just supernatural, like just getting her into the rotation, make sure she got her reps during practice. She pays attention to the fundamentals. And I remember there was one time she came in just to do some work on an off day, and I think she hit 23s in a row. She's working on post up. She's going off the glass, different angles. She cares about those small details. So that mentality for the small details, really matters.
That's amazing. Has there been a time in practice where you've just felt like super humbled, where you're like, whoa, these are grown women professionals?
It's crazy that you asked about that because it was like, it was the first practice we had with media in there. So how our practice facility is set up, the media comes in about maybe 15, 20 minutes left in practice, and they're sitting on the sideline. So they've got their cameras out, they're recording. And JJ set this brutal down screen on me, and it was an offensive foul. Like the referees called it because we had refs at the time. But she gave me a forearm shiver. And I was like, Jay, like, and she just gave me the look, and I was just like, all right, welcome to the WNBA, I guess so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was your welcome moment. That's so amazing. I think JJ has given a lot of people their welcome to the W moment.
Oh, yeah. I guess going off of that, what are some things you've learned about not only the Liberty, but the league as a whole since your time on the practice squad?
I haven't had a lot of interaction with other teams and players specifically, but when it comes to just learning more about the WNBA, I can definitely say just the preparation from the coaching side and the player side is like top notch and high level. The level of detail that they put into preparing for these games is super high. Like I know for us, it doesn't matter what the record for Chicago is. We're going into practice like, hey, we've got to guard Angel Reese tonight. Like this isn't going to be like an easy matchup. Connecticut, we've got to guard Marina. This is like one of the best shooters in the league. So it's just like we're still approaching it with that same high level mentality. And that goes across the league as well. There's no team that's just walking into practice and like, oh, it's Connecticut. That doesn't happen. Like it's still a very high level of preparation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
This is another question I have like a little behind the scenes. Besides the coaches, who is talking the most at practice? Who's communicating the most as it relates to the Liberty? And who's talking the most constructively? And then who's talking the most trash?
Well, to answer both of those questions is Natasha. I love her. Every practice she walks in and she does like a hey yo and like yells and it's great to get everybody going. And like you guys see it on TV and stuff, but in practice, her guarding you is legit. And like I said, there are guys on our practice team like who played some D2 ball, and they're struggling to get the ball across half court versus her. She can legitimately guard. She's a dog on defense, and she talks a lot of trash, but at the same time, she's the first to come dap us up after practice. Hey guys, great job. This is one thing I love about her. She goes up to every single media person, every single coach, and thanks them each and every single day. I love that. Love that.
She's awesome. We actually met her briefly at Unrivaled. We went as media, and that's exactly what we took away from her. She's just so warm, welcoming. She's so into it, and we just love her.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So with everything that you're learning at the Liberty, what are your future goals as it relates to coaching and player development?
I think the biggest thing for me is I honestly would love to be in a front office role in the future, a GM, some type of executive in the WNBA. And I was really sad Denver didn't get a bid for a team in the next few years, but hopefully that's coming down the pipeline. We'll see in the 2030s. But in terms of the next 5 to 10 years, for me, I just want to become the best high school and collegiate coach that I can be. So I'm coaching high school again this upcoming season, and I just feel like the wealth of knowledge I've been able to gain on the pro level, I'm able to translate down to youth players. So that's really going to be my focus is, hey, I can bring all of these techniques, I can bring all this knowledge that I learned from the pros down to the youth level. That's my focus. And actually, I want to get into that front office role. So that way, in the future, Denver can have a rockin' WNBA team. That would be phenomenal.
We are behind you on that one. I'm really curious because you have such a coaching mindset, as you just mentioned. Do you ever have the urge, or have you ever actually, with the Liberty, gave some feedback or thought about helping them out with plays, or is that a total, like, you don't do that?
Yeah. So MJ Marine, she's from France. So I remember I was talking with her before practice, one that's super sweet player and everything. And just to hear her mindset like a European was really interesting. And I remember telling her, I was like, you should shoot the ball more. And she kind of looked at me and she was, yeah, okay. And she doesn't talk a lot. She's very soft spoken, but it's kind of like moments like that of I'm not giving them like, hey, you should shoot the ball. Like these are pros. Like they know how to shoot, they know how to move on the floor and everything like that. But it's more of like, hey, when you come off the screen, like you got 2 feet of space, like shoot that. Like that's you. And just like more encouraging them to do the things they're really, really good at. So for MJ, it's coming off screens and shooting her one leg threes, which she does in practice and she makes them. And then just giving constructive feedback to really hone in on those strengths. You're doing a great job at this, keep it going. So
Yeah, I was going to say she doesn't need much space to shoot because she just finds ways. And every time she throws up a shot, you're like, no, 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 no. And then it goes in and you're like, it worked. It's awesome. But she does practice it and you can tell because they go in. You mentioned that there are some things that you will take down with you into your own coaching at the high school level. Is there a certain value or even like a certain drill that you're like, that's coming with me?
yeah, I'll answer both. There is a value and there is a certain drill. I'll start off with the drill. I love start off with 3v3, 4v4 at the beginning of practice. I honestly think that should be mandatory for all youth practices. It is such a great way to prep your body for the physicality. Going straight into a 5v5, it's just really, really tough to prep your body for the physicality, like the impact. So we like to call it percentages. So for us, when we first come to practice, we go 60 to 70 and then we ramp it up from there. So it's just like if you can prep your body for those little hits, those little movements, and then once you ramp it up all the way, then you're ready to go. So like from a physicality standpoint, that's how I would approach that. And mindset standpoint, there's an interview that said, and the reporter asked her, he was like, hey, like something going on in the locker room. You guys have lost like 3, 4 games in a row. And so I was like, nope, that's just outside noise. We're as tight as ever. We're not worried about losing a few games. We know who we are. We know what we're building towards, and we know exactly who we're going to be. And I think that's a mindset you can bring down to the youth level easily. It's, hey, like we've lost 3, 4 games in a row. That's basketball. As long as we stay tight knit, as long as we're playing our brand of basketball, eventually things are going to work out. But we can't allow all this outside noise to dictate who we are, what we do.
Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafin from the Mystics have talked a little bit about that. Like they're having a pretty good season, but they're fighting to be in the playoffs. But they've said like, we're good and we've got a good thing going here. And I think that can help so much for players, for a team. And it might not be this year, but that groundwork that you're putting in now and that trust that you're building in now is so important for the next season and the season after that. So I think that's great.
All right. Something that we really like to ask everyone we interview is, who is your favorite athlete in women's sports and why?
Oh man, hands down, and it's always been Minor. I love her game. It's kind of crazy because she played for the Lynx, who are currently in first place, and we just lost to them. I know it's a little bit of conflict of interest, but I love Maya Moore. I've always loved her game, like just her ability to create space. She played at UConn as well, but just like her game was just so smooth, so solid, and she had Minnesota rocking at the time that she was playing there. And just different life things happened to where she had to step away from the game, but hands down, she has been my favorite women's player when it comes to basketball. And a close second would definitely have to be Stewie. I just love her game. So
I'm curious, what got you into the women's game so much to begin with? Because I feel like, unfortunately, not a lot of men know a lot of players. I'm just curious from your perspective, like what drew you in?
Yeah, so my sisters, both of them played basketball in high school. And then one of my sisters crazy. She told me this last year. She got recruited by Lisa Bluter to go play at Iowa out of high school.
Wow.
I know, crazy. And she chose to stay in Colorado. But anyways, so they both played basketball. And my sister, she held like the rebound record in Colorado. She was just an incredible player. And I just remember going to her games. Like her games were so energetic, so much fun. And my older brother played basketball too. His games were great. But it was just something about the women's games. They were just really, really good when she played. And I just love like the energy and stuff.
Well, we love to hear that.
Definitely. It's been so good to chat with you and getting to know you a little bit more. How can people follow you? Where can they get to know you? Where can they tune in to what you're up to? Because you're going to be a GM one day and we need to keep track.
At the Hoops Academy, that's on Instagram, and Hoops Academy on TikTok as well. I'm not gonna lie, the content's been a little slow, but that's because the season is moving into the playoffs and everything. So I'm just focused on finishing out the season here in Brooklyn. But content will ramp back up here soon, and I'll be coaching at Arupe Jesuit in Colorado this upcoming season. Really excited to be their new head coach. We're building a brand new gym and everything like that. They love women's sports too, so it's going to be incredible. And honestly, I would say support the Liberty going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of the injury bug, and we got a lot of new players that we brought in as well. But we're acclimating well, and we're getting there. And as long as everyone's healthy come playoff time, I think we can really make a run. And we just got to get Minnesota and Phoenix and Atlanta out of the way. So
I know. Oh, it's going to be so exciting. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Oh, I want to do a little shout out. Big shout out to Jalen Sherrod. Jay, we all miss you. All the guys miss you. All the players miss you. And even though you're on Minnesota, I still wish you the best. I don't want you to beat us, but I still wish you the best in your career. So shout out.
I am so happy you said that because when we stopped recording, that was going to be my first question of what are your interactions with Jalen Sherrod, because we love her so much. And I'm so happy she got her time with the Liberty. I'm so happy she got to learn from Natasha Cloud. And I just really want great things for her. And now she's going to Minnesota, another team that's so well coached. So I just really, really want good things for Jalen Sherrod. So I'm so happy you did that shout out.
I love her game.
Thank you, Afriye, for joining us. That wraps up our interview for today. Be sure to follow the Hoops Academy on Instagram at _hoops_academy. That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports, rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and share the podcast with your friends. Thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all.